What's up, besties? I hope you're having a wonderful day. I think I already made a video on this topic, but that would have been years ago, and back then I couldn't speak English very well, and also I get smarter and smarter with time, so this one will be better. I don't think we fully comprehend just how much someone's appearance influences how we perceive them. In psychology, there is this phenomenon called halo effect. In short, it's a cognitive bias in which, based on our first of a visual expression of a person or a company or whatever, in our heads we assume their other attributes. So, for example, if you see a good-looking man, we may just deep down subconsciously assume that he's also kind and smart and funny, even though we have no proof for that yet, or even if we find out that he did something wrong, we may just try to justify it or assume that he didn't have bad intentions. I said man because beautiful women are also often stereotyped as vain, bitchy, and stupid, and all this stuff. There is also a horn effect, in which is the opposite. Based on negative impressions, we presume other negative traits. And that's still on a subconscious level. People tend to rationalize stuff. For example, assuming that if someone's overweight, they must be lazy because that's what led them to looking this way. So like it's both. You get that from a first impression, but also try to make stuff up in your head as you go, even though you don't know for sure. You don't know what exactly is the reason why they are like that. And also, I guess just a lot of opinions that can stem from harmful ideas. I feel like in this video my own appearance and experiences with it matter. Just for context, I think I am fairly conventionally attractive, aside from my personal style choices that get very mixed reactions. Some people love it, some people hate it. So I speak from a pretty lucky position. I'm thin, able-bodied, with hairs where they're typically most desired. Look even younger than I am. My skin usually looks good. Right now I have exactly one huge zit on my chin and it's driving me nuts, but I never had super bad acne. And the only time I can see that my face isn't perfectly symmetrical is when I do my eyeliner. And it just won't look the same on both eyes despite painting it in the exact same width, length, angle. But that's not really a flaw. Perfectly symmetrical faces would be uncanny. This doesn't mean that there's nothing that I'm insecure about, because there absolutely is. And there's certainly a reason why I usually get complimented on my intelligence and creativity, not least, but I acknowledge that I'm luckier than a lot of people, and I will try to be as informed and sensitive when speaking about things that don't impact me personally as I can. The conversation about beauty here could focus on various things, some that can't be deliberately changed, anything genetic like height, facial features, and so on. Some that kind of can, but it requires a lot of time, effort, and often money, like weight or the state of someone's teeth or hair. And also personal choices in fashion, the choices we can make quickly. And I wanted to center it around that from a perspective of alternative fashion enjoyer. Although I think we tend to underestimate how much the intrinsic feature also impacts our perception of someone. Even if we are trying to be non-conformists, the biggest alternative, like goth people I see online, are all conventionally attractive outside of their unconventional fashion choices. I dare say even body positivity icons, typically outside of their weight, are very conventionally attractive. Look at Tess Holiday. She's got a really conventionally beautiful face and great hair and nice skin, and awesome for her. That's not a criticism. When you look at most of those people, my point is just that I feel like we like to dose how much of the quote-unquote undesired characteristic we can accept on a person. And even in the communities that proclaim to reject beauty standards and conformity, beautiful people come on top anyway. You know what was the switching moment that I think really good? There was this kid that I went to the same kindergarten with, and then elementary school, and then also middle school, and he was such a menace and bully the whole time. His parents owned the shop. I don't remember what exactly they sold. There was like various things. And one day, we could have been like maybe 9 or 10, to advertise the shop. His mom gave him a bunch of stuff to give to all classmates. I don't remember what the boys were gifted. I think it was some type of toy. But all the girls got these fabric headbands in different colors. And as he came up to me, he said something along the lines of, "I am only giving you this because my mom made me. So I picked a black one especially for you because you look like an ugly witch and it will shoot you." I have no idea why this stuck with me for so long, because this is extremely mild, just one negative comment. To be completely honest, I liked that headband, but my mom didn't let me wear it because she also thought it's ugly, and she saw that everyone else had colorful ones and connected the dots without me telling her anything, and just was like, "Oh, he did that deliberately, didn't he?" The point I'm making is just that our childhood shapes a perception of ourselves so much. And it's a little funny, because I truly was not an ugly child, by any means. There was literally nothing about me that didn't fit the norm visually. I was a weird child above anything else, and since I was weird, one of the main insults I got was ugly, because the point wasn't to describe reality, it was to hurt, right? I think it's quite obvious that things like that can impact a person for life, especially if the bullying is harsher than what I experienced, and especially if it's targeted at actual features that can make them insecure. He could not point out why I'm ugly, because I wasn't. And then that insecurity can breed further mental problems and social awkwardness, which only adds to the issue. People often talk about, "Oh, I can't find anyone to date me or whatever because I'm ugly," and the responses are, "No, it's because you're socially weird," and just keep on complaining and stuff. And being ugly kind of damages your mental health. Those things are just creating a cycle. Those things are like impacting each other. Also, coming back to my story for one moment, isn't it weird that at that age boys were given toys and girls headbands? Why did it have to be gendered? And more importantly, why in a way that reinforces gender stereotypes? These are of course rhetorical questions. I know why. But I think my little anecdote reflects the way society treats children. Once again, girls are made to think about their looks from a very young age. In this case, for most of them, it was supposed to be positive. They got something that could make them feel pretty. But still, the double standards are just sad. We can even look at children's clothing generally, and how often, instead of focusing on comfort or what the kids are interested in wearing, it is designed to resemble adult clothing so that adults like it. And that sucks regardless of gender, actually. Little girls' clothes are often really short and tight and cropped. And then a lot of boy stuff, just like men's stuff, it is boring. I've seen many parents being afraid of giving their sons certain colors or patterns so that they don't look feminine and end up gay. Scary. And oh my god, I hate men's fashion with a passion. Well, that rhymes. It is boring. Most men look ugly in it. Looking feminine is for men synonymous with weakness and humiliation, and I guess most of them would rather be boring. I'm trying not to be too judgmental. I guess men can look boring if they want to, just like I can be weird because I want to. Everyone should get to make their own choices. But it is just sad in a way to me. Fashion is such a great way of self-expression, and they're missing out on a lot of it. Limiting the colors, the patterns, the shapes of the clothes they can wear because, oh no, this is feminine, gay even. I don't really think that I need to establish that beauty privilege is a thing. I think by now most of people know it, both when it comes to interpersonal interactions, especially dating, but also careers and even sentencing in court. People are willing to spend so much money on looking good. I kind of talked about it from a style perspective in my previous video, which is about fast fashion, but there's also the skincare, hair, cosmetic surgeries, makeup, the entirety of weight loss industry, diet, supplements, fitness classes, often overpriced. And, exercise and eating healthy is good for you. But a lot of those aren't that. And people often end up gaining the weight back and just yo-yo dieting, getting eating disorders because the goal is not health, it's a certain look. Plus, a lot of the beauty products are just a scam that doesn't work or is unhealthy itself. Weight loss diet supplements, laxatives also. Surgeries can be botched. Makeup can make your skin worse, and then you need to buy more skincare. Or in some places, skin bleaching is popular for racial reasons, which is probably even worse for you than tanning, I assume. And tanning became popular for class reasons. Back in the day, a tan was a poor people thing because it meant you work outside on a field, and now a nice real tan means you can afford to travel somewhere sunny. Same case with hair stuff. We curl it, straighten it, both especially unhealthy when it's done permanently. We dye it and then it's damaged, and we try to fix it with more hair products. Plus, of course, there's a racial conversation about hair as well. And I think part of the alternative subculture experience typically entails being deliberately outside of the norms with clothes, makeup, and hairstyles, but usually not an abandonment of many other expensive things I just listed. And I don't want to be super judgy. Again, we are conditioned to find certain things visually appealing or unappealing since childhood, and there is a ton of pressure to fit the beauty standards, especially for women. There's also disdain when we try to, because that's vain and only proves all the stereotypes about women that are supposed to justify the patriarchy are true. That we're emotional and unintelligent. You're supposed to be beautiful without trying, and also unaware of it, so you're not too confident. And so a man can come to you and tell you. Like, I'm pretty sure the only thing men are scrutinized for more when it comes to appearance than women is height. This is so tiring. But I do think it's worth it to just do some introspection into the reasons why we hold certain opinions. Honestly, it helped me not only to be less critical, but to generally stop having some of these feelings. Body hair on women is a good example here. Because when we discuss it, a lot of women just say that, they shave it for themselves because otherwise they feel gross and unhygienic or unfeminine, and it has nothing to do with what men think. There's objectively nothing unhygienic about it. I don't want to argue for this even, it's all about looks. Where does this attitude come from? Both pubescent human bodies have hair on them, regardless of sex. Also, men have more of it, so if anyone's gross, When we are told from the young age that it looks gross or masculine and therefore ugly on women, we just internalize this. We believe this. It like seeps into our brain, and we don't treat this as just a fact, but as like a feeling. So even when someone tries to rationally tell us, oh no, it's not unhygienic, in our brain it's not that easy to get rid of it. Personally, I was bullied into shaving by some mean girls when I was in middle school. They made me feel gross. But then when I was like 18, I think, I bought an expensive pack of razors, and then I lost it, and didn't want to replace it, hoping I'll find them eventually, and just kept on procrastinating doing anything about it until the hair on my legs and arms fully grew out, and I realized that actually it doesn't bother me. I mean, when it was all spiky and growing back, it was super annoying, but now it's soft again because it's fully grown out, and it's not like the tips have been cut off by a razor because it's new hair altogether. It did, however, bother people around me, still does. And I'm a contrarian, and nobody will tell me what to do with my body and my hair. So that's one more reason to leave it. Also, I had a tendency to hurt myself in the process with shaving because I'm cheap and lazy and often skip shaving products, and because I'm clumsy. Also, I never found those razors, and I have since moved, so that's funny. I think someone gets a pack of expensive razors for free, if they find it. A cooler and more positive version of the brain programming thing is what I noticed happens to a lot of artists, me included. I can link this video to the main theme of the channel somehow. In search for references to make our art more diverse and not to make the exact same thing over and over again, we end up falling in love with some certain underappreciated features. Some of the features that are considered conventionally attractive might stem just from our evolution, all the stuff that has to do with looking healthy and strong. But many others come from our conditioning and change with times and trends, and we can make what we find aesthetic more inclusive. It's not that hardwired. You can reprogram your own brain somehow. Like, I've seen so many side profiles featuring this ethnic Mediterranean shape of nose, or vitiligo, or often chubbier Rubenesque bodies. And people in the real world get bullied for those features. It baffles my mind. I'm so sorry about that. Honestly, I think if you are bullied for your appearance and you find it hard to trust people complimenting you because they may be mocking you too, you should believe artists. Artists are very genuine in appreciating beauty. I personally don't do many side profiles, but I swear I find these Mediterranean noses so beautiful. They're like made to be painted. That's kind of how I see that. And a big part of subcultures like goth is also redefining beauty, an appreciation for the scary and seemingly evil, for the dark and sickly and rejected. I feel like it's also a kind of form of escapism from the boring, uncreative, intolerant world. This is why I don't tan. I know it looks unhealthy, kind of even is. I'm sure I got vitamin D deficiency, but I like looking this way. I like how when I don't get enough sleep, I get darker circles around my eyes. I even exaggerate that with makeup oftentimes. Black is my happy color, and also purple, but I feel weird wearing other colors. But at the same time, I don't think we go super far about appreciating the underappreciated features. It's interesting because depending on where you are, at least in the global north, I guess, the law typically prohibits discrimination based on gender, or at least sex, race, ethnicity, nationality, religion, age. disability, but not appearance, unless it's linked to the other ones. But not even always. I know that there is a big issue with hairstyles worn typically by black people being seen as unprofessional or unkept, and that being used against the people wearing it in employment, and for example prohibited in schools or in sport. It's one thing when it comes to personal relationships. Everyone has preferences, and I think it's worth to introspect where they come from and challenge our opinions. But ultimately, you can't force someone to like you. But when it comes to jobs or school, the thing that should matter is your performance. Everyone should have equal chances. And I think discrimination based on appearance should be fought with, especially on the things we can't control or that are hard to control. But also permanent or semi-permanent fashion choices. Because if your employer has a right to prohibit you from having tattoos, piercings, and certain hairstyles at work, they can also ban you from having it in private because your hair and skin are attached to the rest of your body and you can't just leave them at home when you go to work. I think if there is some uniformity to workplace, it should make sense practically. For example, I see no reason why a bus driver shouldn't be allowed to wear shorts in the summer. And only concerned clothing and maybe makeup, but in a way where you can choose the feminine or masculine version yourself. High heels especially, but also some types of skirts, makeup. That's all uncomfortable and reinforces gender roles when it's just a rule that women wear this and men wear that. And I think it should be voluntary. It's not fair if only women have to put up with that. So school uniforms are stupid. Because as a kid you don't really have the ultimate decision in what school you go to, like an adult does with a job. Plus they don't work. The argument I hear the most is that they make it equal because nobody has cheaper or more expensive clothes. But kids aren't that stupid. They know. They talk with one another. Know who went where on holidays. They see whose parents drive what car. They see who has what quality supplies. They know. They're not. If someone's poor, it's visible. And you're just killing self-expression, and I hate uniformity. I think everyone should have a right to self-expression. I talked about it already, but to me, fashion is a form of art and a means of non-verbal communication. Restricting fashion is restricting one's freedom of speech. And I'm not even saying that there should be no standards at all. Try to not be dirty, or try not to stink. For example, seem like very good social standards, because making things around you dirty or having a bad smell impacts people around you. My dyed hair does not do that. If someone doesn't like it, they can just think, oh, I wouldn't want that on my head, and move on. Honestly, one of the reasons why I love dyeing my hair so much is that it repels the people that I wouldn't want around me anyway. I've had conversations with conservative people around me, and there's a lot of those. I live in one of the most conservative parts of one of the most conservative countries in Europe, and in a small town on top of that. About modesty. Both in the sense of dressing in a way that doesn't bring too much attention to you, being humble, I guess, and the sense that I see too small when using this word in English. I don't know, leaving things for the imagination. And I realized that so many people find it shocking when I say, especially about blatter, that this notion is harmful, not just disagreeable, shocking. As if they just assume that every time you wear something revealing, you do it kind of knowing that this is not very great, but also not that bad and fun, and not that their role is actually wrong. Perpetuating a culture in which our bodies have to be covered up or else we are objectified is perpetuating a culture in which we are objectified. And this once again focuses on women and controlling what we can wear. There's no objective point of this percentage of your body exposed means you are a slut, and above that it's all good. because this is all socially constructed. Also, people complain about tight clothing a lot of the time, that leggings are so... I hate people complaining about leggings. My legs are literally fully covered. What do you want from me? It's not about our bodies inherently needing to be covered up or else. It's about beliefs and social conditioning and ultimately control. And when it comes to not sticking out too much type of modesty, because that's more relevant to the topic of this video, I also call bullshit. There's nothing like positive about that attitude. Like, who is it hurting when someone looks different? Or if someone sticking out from the crowd makes you feel bad because you want to be equal, and why not just be more creative with your appearance too? This is why I never care if I'm overdressed. Yes, I will wear platform shoes, floor length, a black skirt with an asymmetrical dress on top of it, and also wrapped up with flared sleeves on top of that, and additional jewelry and ribbons in my hair, and funky makeup to my classes. Because why not? I like how that looks. I want to wear stuff like this as often as I can, and I love how I feel when I do that, and where else am I supposed to wear it? I don't go places. The interesting part to me is that when choosing alternative style, by definition we reject a lot of the beauty standards of our society, but we still cling onto many others, and I'm saying we because I'm including myself in this. It makes me feel fine, but I want to be beautiful, just in a different way. I want to look like a hot vampire or some other spooky creature. But if you look at which alternative-looking people are getting the most hate and the least amount of support, it's those who don't fit the traditional canons of beauty even more, because of their features or poor makeup skills, or just doing makeup messily maybe, or because their clothes look cheap or unflattering, or because they go further with the body modifications, tattoos, piercings. Because we still apply beauty standards. I think even within more alternative communities, especially with gothy styles, there is this kind of stereotype, kind of this fetishization about all women who wear it being insanely attractive in a forbidden fruit kind of way. This is a sort of perception that to me seems maybe even more popular in the mainstream. We have those men wearing blue jeans and a grey t-shirt talking about how they want a goth GF, not based on shared interest or anything like that, they just mean pale, conventionally attractive women wearing black, usually with black hair maybe. Coming back to alternative communities themselves, there is this weird trend in makeup that I think started out on YouTube and then also gets super popular on TikTok, the trad goth makeup that looks nothing like what the girls in the 80s wore. I think it's Suzy inspired, but made way cleaner and professional looking. It's pretty much just drag in dark colors, but somehow that's held up as the standard and the real goth look. They didn't even have access to makeup products to make that happen back in the 80s. They repurposed things. Sure, they would use I've heard of cornstarch or putting eyeliner on your lips, maybe. Using colors definitely to a higher degree in makeup. They were way messier, and so can people right now. It doesn't have to be so clean and so, again, professional looking. And I'm not saying don't wear it. I think it looks awesome. But it's not just the only right way, or the only traditional way, or the true goth way, It's very modern. And not everyone has to learn to be this meticulous with makeup and to buy all these products. Or, sometimes, even if there is skill, I post online pictures of my makeup, but that's on the days when I put in more effort and I try to make it artsy. Oftentimes, I just smear something dark on my eyelids add some messy eyeliner, smear that too so it looks deliberate, add mascara, done. Because I don't think my makeup has to be beautiful every day. I just like it strong. Not adhering to the norm is the whole point. This is why there was a trend to look alternatively in 2020. And people are now cringing at this style, being, oh, I was so cringy back then, oh, the people who did that back then were so cringy. Personally, I still think it's cool. I do. Give me your demonias if you stopped wearing them. I cannot afford demonias and I want them so bad. But the reason why it got so popular is that people could experiment with fashion without the societal implications, because we were all locked inside and maybe they just don't have the balls to be cringy publicly. Personally, I just embrace the cringe. I'm cringe and free. It feels awesome not to care about how people view me and also about how people around me look. In fact, I will defend cringe people if their only crime is being cringe. I defend fairies when I talk to people. I defended Jojo Siwa back when she was just a cringe kid and not try to be a new not try to be new Abby Miller. It was just cringe but not a bad person. We spotted some weird emo kids barking at people when I was out shopping with my mom and my aunt, and I took their side. Sure, bark. I don't care. Be cringe. Be ugly even. Be free. Be you. Every now and then I see kids commenting stuff like, I would dress like that, but I'm afraid people will judge me. This is the whole point. But also, stop caring, just do it. The whole point is rebelling against societal expectations, norms, and standards, and traditions. That's why even though there are lengths I personally wouldn't go to, or things that I just straight up don't like, for example piercings, they trigger my germophobia badly for some reason. And I mean all of them, including the basic earrings. I am very grossed out, especially when it's in the lip area. But I will never actually tell someone not to do that, or that they are gross for liking that, because that's their body and they are not responsible for my feelings, and I am not responsible for feelings of people who don't like how I look. That's just how freedom works, that's just how self-expression works. I don't have to like everything. Nobody has to, just do what you like. That's the whole point. But I think that's all from me for now. I hope at least something that I've said was in any way interesting to you. If you have any more thoughts regarding this topic, maybe I didn't mention something, or you disagree, or maybe you have any comments on the art I'm making in the background. I tried doing a simple animation in Blender all by myself without following a video that will tell me everything step by step, like I did with the curtain, and it took a lot of time because my computer was not cooperating with some things. Anyway, if you have something to say, I would love it if you left a comment in the comment section down below. And for now, just stay safe, go listen to some cool music, and peace!